Tonight we light the candles, and as I watch them shine, I think of what they stand for, this heritage of mine. It's more than just a story of people long ago. It reaches to the present, and deep inside I know I am a light that shines with love and promise. The darkest night can never dim my glow. Imagine life where each of us ignites the flame inside, standing close together, standing for what's right. A million ways to say I am a light. The candle called the shamash burns with a special flame. It shares its fire with others so they can do the same. From the youngest to the oldest, there's so much we can do. Like those who came before us, we must burn brightly too. I am a light that shines with love and promise. The darkest night can never dim my glow. Imagine life where each of us ignites the flame inside, standing close together, standing for what's right. A million ways to say I am a light. Hand in hand, heart to heart, one by one, that's how it starts. I am a light that shines with love and promise. The darkest night can never dim my glow. Imagine life where each of us ignites the flame inside, standing close together, standing for what's right. A million ways to say I am a light. I am a light. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, Hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, Hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha, v'hoshienu l'man shemecha. Help us to know that you're near, that your presence is here. Let us lie down in peace every night. And when we rise in the day, keep us sheltered, we pray. God Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. My days are busy, there's so much to do and see. So many people expect so very much of me because I love them. I always try to do my best, and as the sun sets, I make this Shabbat request. Shalom Rav, give me peace, oh God, I pray. Shalom Rav, peace for each moment of my day. Shalom Rav, within me plant a peaceful seed. Peace for the world begins with a peaceful me. When I am peaceful, trouble cannot follow me. I can help others to feel happy, to feel free. Give me the will, God, because it's what I want to do, to spread to others the peace that comes from you. Shalom Rav, give me peace, oh God, I pray. Shalom Rav, peace for each moment of my day. Shalom Rav, within me plant a peaceful seed. Peace for the world begins with a peaceful me. Peace for the world begins with a peaceful me.
A 1, 2, 3. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Oh, Shema, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, Shema, Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael.
Shabbat, et ha-Shabbat. Lasot et ha-Shabbat, L'dorotam, Brit olam, Brit olam. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to Micah. I am, as always, Rabbi Flip. I am joined, thank God, by musical director Miss Lisa Silver. We welcome those of you who are together here in person, as well as thank all of you who have invited us into your living rooms and kitchens and perhaps bedrooms via the internet. Tonight, we turn our attention to the diversity within our community. On this, the final Shabbos of Jewish Disability Awareness, Acceptance, and Inclusion Month, we are here to highlight how Micah strives to be an ally, an advocate for the rights of all. We do our best to partner with other organizations to help initiate systematic change in how society views and values people with disabilities, and that advance policies and practices that empower people that have a variety of incapacities to have a better future. Here at Micah, we try to maintain and model a community that has a responsibility, an ability to respond to the world with justice and compassion, and a respectability, an ability to humbly respect where people are at, religiously, emotionally, physically, sexually, financially, educationally, politically. Both in here and out there, we help fight stigmas and advance opportunities so that people with disabilities can fully participate in all aspects of our community. This is Jerry Dushin. Zikrona Levracha, we say, may his memory always live on as a blessing. Jerry was one of the founders of our community. It is not an accident that between where I stand and you sit, there is a ramp. Not a hidden ramp. By the back of the pulpit, one right in front. Here at Micah, people with disabilities are seen. We recognize them so that they can participate fully in the life of our community and contribute significantly to it. Jerry did. Micah is a place where we shift narratives by centering people with lived disability experience into leadership roles, ensuring an authentic representation on our board, and always erring on the side of inclusion. Jerry was a past president of Micah, and from the day I met him, he sat in that scooter with a perfect balance of pride and humility. Disability is a vast label. There are physical disabilities and developmental disabilities, learning disabilities, mental disabilities. When congregations deliberately create space for all people, we echo the notion that we are all made in God's image, each bearing that image uniquely. So we begin celebrating that and welcoming the Sabbath with the lighting of our candles. We're going to invite forward Mr. Zev Malamed, who tomorrow will become a bar mitzvah. Yeah, he's going to be joined by his brother Tice and his parents. Dan and Sarah are coming. We are on page 2, or you can follow along behind me on the screen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, creator of the universe, creator of the universe. By your commandments we are sanctified as we kindle the lights of Shabbat. Amen.
Our welcoming continues as we welcome the Sabbath angels.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hashai, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hashai, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hashai, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Alechem, Malachi Hasharei, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Mila Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi
HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Alechem, Malachei Asharei, Malachei Elyon, Minalech, Malachei Hamakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Minalech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Minalech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Alechem, Malachei Asharei, Malachei Elyon, Minalech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Please rise in body or spirit. Ikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabba. Ba'alma divra hibrute, yalmik malhute, b'chayhom u'v'yomeho, uftebaike, Yisrael.
Bagala uvizman karid limeru
Amen. Yahei
shmei Rabba mavorach olam u'almei almaya yitbarach
Yikbarak v'yish tabak, v'yipar v'yitroma v'yitnase, v'yihardar v'yitale v'yitala, shemei kresha.
barichu
Oyalam mikol birhata, v'shirata,
tushbechata v'nechemata damiran belma limeru Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Vaed HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. In the Talmud, Tractate Ta'anit, page 7a, Rabbi Hanina declares, I have learned much from my teachers, even more from my peers, but my students teach me the most. So I was in class a few weeks ago, not the teacher. Yes, your rabbis continue to study, both because we enjoy it, and there's a model that we too are always growing, looking to improve. That learning is a joy that can last your whole life. I'm taking an 8-week yoga course, and it was week 1, and at the end of the lecture, the teacher asked, does anyone have any questions? Seems an appropriate thing to do. I teach all sorts of classes. At the end, I often ask this question. Judaism encourages questions. One student, Hannah Stone, said, can I ask a favor? What's that? Replied the teacher. Instead of saying, does anyone have any questions, could you possibly ask if anyone has any thoughts, feelings, or comments? "Okay," replied the teacher, without any defensiveness. "But why?" And Hannah took a breath. She replied, "Because I do have questions often, but I don't always have the courage to ask. If you ask me how I'm feeling about something, I'm just more apt to tell you. So for the last few weeks in class, with kids, in Torah study with adults, I have recalibrated how I ask questions. Changing a small thing. Wording has engaged members of all ages to participate more fully and connect more deeply, which is part of our strategic plan here at Micah. It's an illustration not just of Rabbi Hanina's wisdom, learning from each other. It's also an example of how when we err on the side of inclusivity, everyone wins. The Torah doesn't segregate the disabled, so we don't either. Now, we may make mistakes, but as the story shows, we can all grow. Micah's tent can get even larger. Our tradition encourages integration, not segregation. There are no mechitzas, partitions here, because we believe that all things are connected and that God is one. And to help illustrate that, Education Director Julie Greenberg is with us this evening to teach us how to sign the Shema.
Thanks, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
So we've been having fun with this foreign language, American Sign Language, on Sunday mornings and on Wednesday evenings when we come together. And of course, the Shema talks about listening, right? And it's harder to listen, it's harder to hear with masks, it's harder to experience, right, this full sensory experience of prayer. But what I've learned about American Sign Language before we get started, and it's short and y'all will be excellent students, I know, is that there's some differences in translation even in sign language, right? So we've had fun with that too. I'm going to first show you, and we're just going to do the first line of the Shema, what is considered to be the most traditional translation. So Shema, here, right? Shema Yisrael, you take your right pinky and draw down here and then over to the other side. We're going to talk about that in a second. Shema Yisrael. Now Adonai is beautiful. You're going to take your right hand arm up into the heavens and down right here to your center, right? Adonai. Eloheinu is almost like putting on your seatbelt. So you're going to cross from your shoulder down to your hip. If you're the driver, that's your seatbelt, right? So Adonai, I'll do one more time. Eloheinu, and then Adonai. Here's the fun one. Echad, one, you kind of dip down and whoo, little flourish, because when we say the Shema, right, there's an emphasis on that echadness, that oneness, right? Okay. So let's practice it the traditional way one more time. Shema Yisrael, Adonai, seatbelt, Eloheinu, Adonai, down and up, and whoop, Echad. Fabulous. Y'all are really quick study. Okay, so this was the question that I posed to our students. Why is this the sign for Yisrael? Why is this the sign for Yisrael? What does it look like to you? Tears. Tears? Oh, I didn't hear that one. I like that one. Beard, I think, right? So we talked about if this is sort of the traditional male Orthodox Jewish symbol of a beard, does that really work for the majority of our members at Congregation Micah? So there's another way to model Yisrael. Am Yisrael, right, the people of Israel, you can do this way. Oh, sorry. This way. Why are we doing it that way? Yeah, this is the Exodus, right? Walking together. So that's how we decided as a school community that we were going to translate the Shema. So let's do it that way, just so you can feel most acclimated to the way we do it at Micah. Ready? Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem
Kavod, Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
Kol HaKavod. You're wonderful students.
Thank you, Julie. We continue chanting words of Torah, words of love, the words of the Ve'ahavta.
ואהבת
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Rabbi Michael Levy is a founding member of Yad HaHazakah, the Jewish Disability Empowerment Center. Rabbi Levy strives to make the Jewish experience and Jewish texts accessible to Jews with disabilities. In lectures at camps and synagogues and educational institutions, he cites Nachshon, who, according to tradition, boldly took the plunge into the Red Sea even before it miraculously parted. Rabbi Levy elaborates, we who have disabilities should be Nachshons, boldly taking the plunge into the Jewish experience, supported by laws and lore that mandate our participation. The disabled are not, as some imagine, constantly sad, overwhelmed, and helpless. They don't need always to be sheltered from all uncertainty and risk, responsibility, disappointment, or failure. The uncertainty inherent in daily life helps all people mature spiritually. Faith is not certainty, it's the courage to live with uncertainty, writes Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, and we Jews have done that for thousands of years, relying on hope and on the stories of past liberations. We sing of one now.
kamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, oseh peleh, oseh peleh. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe. Zeli, anu ve'yamaru, Adonai imloch, le'olam, le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, oseh peleh, oseh peleh. Yadadai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yadadai-dai-dai. Yadadai-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yadadai-dai-dai-dai-dai, yadadai-dai-dai. Yadadai-dai-dai-dai-dai.
Tomorrow, Louis Goldstein will turn 82 years old, and Peter Zinni will turn 84 on the 27th. I mentioned those two things in preparation to mention this. Okay, come on. Come stand right over here. I'll take the... This man tomorrow will become a bar mitzvah. That's just the first thing that's going on. And what we like to do at this point in our service is explain, share what's going on in the life of our community so that when joyous things happen, we can partake in them together. So if you're feeling a little low, you feel a little happier because you came here and you heard what's going on. And for that, we need people who are articulate and brief and can tell us something that's going on in their life or in the life of the Jewish people or something that's happy that we could share in. Who's got what? What do you got back there?
My birthday.
Then come over here. Come on down. Yeah, you can clap again. Come on, Marjorie. Birthdays we like. We got birthdays. We got 4. Something else. What do you got over here? You turned 18. That would be a birthday. Come on down. Okay, this is Alex. If you have not checked out our podcast, I will announce it at the end, but the art and interview behind it is stepping up for another birthday celebration. Anybody got an anniversary? Anybody want to just share something and not feel the pressure of having to come up here? Okay. I got one more thing I got to mention, because there's a little, we call Palmetto Pride. We are awesome. We are great. Senior class of 88. Ketanji Brown Jackson was the president of my high school class. So email's been exploding a little bit. We're giving a shout out to you there, Ketanji. We're all behind you and we're rooting for you and you're going to be outstanding. Okay, we take all of that and we think of the happy things in our lives as I invoke God's name. I say, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu. We ask this great power in the universe that blessed all of our ancestors with happy times, with birthdays, with Baruch Hashem, we say, confirmations, with the ability to experience life in community. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechech yanu v'kiyamanu v'higyanu lazman hazeh. Everybody says, Amen. It means we thank this power in the universe that created us and that helps us along the way and then enables us to reach special times. Okay, you guys are great. Come on down. You can go back. You got to stay with me, Zev. It's not always all good, which is to say there are bad things that happen in the world too, and our ancestors knew it. And we're thinking about Jewish people in Ukraine, but really all people in Ukraine. And I can't help but say there are places that we can contribute funds, and that those funds will help people make aliyah to Israel. They will help secure the local community and its institutions. They will maintain critical welfare services. They will assist internally displaced people in multiple locations. And we just want you to know there are things we can do. And one of those things that we do certainly is that we pray. And we ask for God's protection. And we'll do that now.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, v'hoshienu l'man shamecha. Help us to know that you're near, that your presence is here. Let us lie down in peace every night. And when we rise in the day, keep us sheltered, we pray. Guide us, God, with your love and your light. Baruch atah Adonai, hapore sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim.
The sage Rabbi Hillel famously asked, "If I am not for myself, who will be for me?" Disabled individuals need to tell us their own story. When people interact directly with unique individuals, we gain a clear understanding of their capabilities, aspirations, and who is to say what is impossible? Moses cites his speech impediment as disqualifying him from confronting Pharaoh. And God reminds Moses that a person with a disability must still fulfill their life's mission. Additionally, advances in technology and medicine can change this year's impossible into next year's reality. People who have almost no functioning muscles now operate computers using head movements and eye blinks. Hillel said, "If I exist only for myself, what am I?" Those of us who are blessed with meaningful, productive lives have a responsibility to help empower others with disabilities to do the same. We can remind them that they need not accept the labels that are sometimes thrust upon them, and that they can set life goals and make choices to lead to those goals. If not now, when? This question underlies any disability-related discussion. Disability awareness proclamations and services like this help, but the bottom line question remains, what actual improvement will they bring about in the lives of Jews with disabilities? Just as Julie Greenberg applied for a grant from the Tennessee Disability Coalition, such that tonight's service is being broadcast with closed captions, so too are we now applying for the funds from the Lori Ann Fischel Special Needs Fund, which was established by the Fischel family to honor her independent spirit and assist individuals with disabilities. Lori's life was enriched by many opportunities that provided her access to and acceptance in the Jewish community. And through this fund, the Jewish Federation and Jewish Foundation of Nashville intent is to better serve individuals with disabilities and their families. How? It provides incentive grants. So we are hopeful to receive funds to purchase sensory sacks including fidgets and weighted lap pads and noise-canceling headphones for kids and others who need them during worship and class. We're looking to improve our assisted living listening devices to continue to ensure that our seating and our entrances and exits are always accessible as possible. We have hired an inclusion specialist from our school who consults our faculty in our religious and preschools. Micah member Ronnie Schuster has been outstanding in providing feedback on classroom observations and developing individual student plans, enhancing our worship, inspiring students, all students, to learn, and amplifying our roles, values, and impact in the larger community. So thank you, Ronnie, for supporting our members and me so well, and for continuing to help train us to remove stigmas while supporting the needs of our students, teachers, and congregants. Because we are a people who believe in covenant, in relationships with responsibility and respectability, and we sing of that Shabbos covenant now.
Shamaru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam, a day of restoration, a cleansing of the soul, for all the broken pieces once again to be made whole, to celebrate the wonder of creation and the gift of time. B'ni uvein b'nei Yisrael ori le'olam, ki sheshit yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, a day of restoration, a cleansing of the soul, for all the broken pieces once again to be made whole, to celebrate the wonder of creation and the gift of time. A day to appreciate the sacred in our world.
Please rise in body or spirit. Adonai sifat hashita ufia ki tehilateha.
Adonai, open up my lips, mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol atarav le'Hoshia, Mechalkel Chayim b'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol b'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim v'Rofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem emunato l'shei ne'afar, Milchamocha ba'al gevurot u'mido melach, Melech memit u'mechayeh u'matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol,
Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalalucha salah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We leave a little time for your own silent thoughts and prayers, and when you're done, you may be seated.
Shalom, shalom, shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim, tasim, tasim la'olam. Ki atahu melech adon, l'chol ha-shalom. Ki atahu melech adon, l'chol ha-shalom. Shalom, shalom, shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim, tasim, tasim la'olam. V'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael. B'chol ed u'v'chol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom, shalom, shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim, tasim, tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam.
Zev is making his way to the back of the room to do me a favor. He's going to hit the K button and lower our lights for our next prayer, because we, the Jewish people, believe that our prayers, go for it, have cosmic significance. That if we say them in the right order at the right time, and as pretty as Miss Lisa can say them, that our prayers, in fact, may make a difference. They could be heard. And so it's at this point in our service that we think about people in this community, the dark places all over the world, Ukraine and beyond, that do not have that sense of Shalom Rav of which we just sang, that sense of wholeness, that sense of peace, and we send our prayer all over the world for that reason. We think of Judith Mandel from our community and Gail Hooper, of TJ Cohen and George Hahn, of Wayne Ritt and Ariana Zaragoza, of Curtis Higanow and Charlene Estrin. And those are just the names that I have in front of me. If you know of someone in this community, in any community that you know of, that is in need of a prayer for healing, we invite you to say those names at this time.
Susan Burdine.
Beverly Bach.
Madeline London, Joan Lawler, Eileen Marshall.
Okay, we take those names into our hearts and prayers, and we invite you to sing a prayer for healing with us.
Dear God of our ancestors, help us renew our faith. Grant us a perfect healing. Give peace to all our days. Elna refanala, refanala nu. Elna refanala, refanala nu. Restore our strength of body.
Restore our strength of body.
Help clarify our minds. Refresh our tired spirits.
Refresh our tired spirit.
Rejuvenate our light. Elna refanala, refanala nu. Elna refanala, refanala nu. Thank you for all these blessings.
For all these blessings.
Throughout our days and nights.
Throughout our days and nights.
We celebrate the journey.
Celebrate the journey.
This precious gift of life.
Gift of
Elna refanala, refanala nu. Elna refanala, refanala nu. Elna refanala, refanala nu. Elna refanala, refanala nu.
Shabbat Shalom. A story of hope, rescued from several kinds of despair. Next Shabbos, the Paralympic Games will begin in China. The Games themselves were inspired by the late Dr. Ludwig Guttmann. Guttmann was a refugee from Nazi Germany, born into an Orthodox Jewish family. By 1933, he was Germany's leading brain surgeon. Then Hitler came to power, and in 1939, he came to Britain, where his skill in neurology led to his being asked by the government to set up the National Spinal Injury Center at Stoke Mandeville Hospital, which he did in 1943. At that time, it was assumed that paraplegics would never be able to live any kind of normal life. The best that could be done for them was to keep them sedated by high doses of drugs and left hospitalized and bedridden until they died. Guttmann was appalled. He believed that they each had a life ahead of them, not just behind them. With faith and determination, they could leave their beds, go out into the world, have jobs, marry, find happiness and the dignity of achievement. By sheer will and unshakable obstinacy, he gave paraplegics back their life. It was an immense struggle for him and them. He reduced their painkillers, made them sit up, and brought in a trainer to make them do exercises. He got nurses to get patients to tell them their life stories, reconnecting with their hopes and dreams. He coaxed them out of their beds and into wheelchairs to play games, competing with the hospital staff, whom he also put in wheelchairs. For the patients, there was pain with every step. At first slowly and reluctantly, and then joyously, these people came back to life. For Guttmann, there was pain too, of a different kind. He was opposed by everyone, the nurses, his fellow doctors, the hospital administrators. They said he was attempting the impossible. At one point, another doctor accused him of failing to see that they were cripples who would never lead a normal life. So with absolute determination, he and the paraplegics kept going through all the setbacks and the agonies and the disappointments and the inner conflicts. Gutman understood that in this struggle, sport had transformative power. He extended the internal games within the hospital to a national competition, and then in 1948 to an international one parallel to the Olympics. Slowly it grew, and in 1960, the first Paralympics took place in Rome, culminating next week, 62 years later. One man helped transform the lives of many. I do not know how much of his approach had to do with his experience or faith as a Jew. Was it his 6 years under Nazi rule in Germany when Jews like paraplegics were regarded as non-persons? Was it his belief that every human being has a soul as well as a body, and however injured the latter, the former could still fly? Was it simply the echo within him of Moses' great command to choose life? One way or another, his inspiring story made Rabbi Jonathan Sacks think that perhaps God is trying to do for us what Gutman did for his patients. He sees that in our souls, if not in our bodies, we're injured. Our spiritual muscles are atrophied through lack of use, and we bear the scars of bruising experiences in the world. Year after year, those around us accept their condition, like we're spiritually bedridden, so sedated by relentlessly secular society that we don't even feel the pain. Your rabbis will not let you lie there. We are here to tell you to sit up and to get out of bed and to exercise your soul, even though it hurts. And though we fail time and again, like Gutman, God never gives up on us until, through prayer and ritual and service to others, we do slowly come alive. In this game, there are no medals, no losers, but by taking part, we learn to live and breathe more deeply until in the end, like an Olympian, we find ourselves lifted to a greatness we never thought we could achieve. I would like to end this evening. Well, I don't have it here, Misty, so I'm not going to end that way. I had a couple of videos I wanted to show you, but that's okay. What we'll do is we will in the future hear a song written about the image of God right here by Miss Lisa Silver.
We are made in the image of God, each one of us, B'Tselem Elohim. We are made in the image of God, each one of us, B'Tselem Elohim. In every person's heart, there is a divine spark, he and she and they and you and I. All beings of the earth are of infinite worth, all equal in the eyes of Adonai. We are made in the image of God, each one of us, B'Tselem Elohim. B'Tselem Elohim. Each one of us, B'Tselem Elohim.
Our concluding prayers begin with the words of Aleinu. I look to the Averys. I put zero pressure on you. I invite everyone who is able to, please rise.
Aleinu l'shabech v'adon hakol, v'ateit gedula liotzer b'reshit, shelo asanu kigel yeharatzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו Ushmo Echad.
Here at the conclusion of our service, we like to mention the recent passings of Evelyn Richmond and Barbara Brooke. We also recall on the anniversaries of their deaths, Dorothy Avery, Elizabeth D. Giovanni, Helen Wheelhouse, Mary Watts, Ray Zimmerman, Leon Weasel, Ray Joseph, Walter Lample Jr., Abigail Morrison, Kurt Rose, Nikolai Brusco, Janice Salinger, Norman Sulkin, Lou Ortega, Ted Lippman, Irma Goldman Codden, Sylvia Goldstein, and Jerry Dushin. If there's any names I've neglected to mention or just ones you'd like to say aloud. I invite you to join me in the words of Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabba, be'alma divra kirute v'yamlik malchute, b'chayachon uv'yomachon uv'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam li'itnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudisha b'richu ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlomo rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. We ask that the source of peace send peace to all people who are mourning and comfort to all people who may feel bereaved. We say one final time together. Amen. I invite you to sit just very briefly because what really makes services official are announcements. Tomorrow morning, Torah study takes place on Zoom at 9 a.m. It's a compassionate group. We have deep conversations. It's easy to sign on, and I don't care if you sign off early. I'm going to sign off at least 10 minutes early so that I can help Mr. Zev Melamed as he becomes a bar mitzvah right here on our pulpit at 10:30. You're welcome to join us and can also watch online. We do have in-person religious school this week. I want to let you know that Purim is coming. What does that mean? That means that Encanto Purim Carnival will take place on March 6th from 10 a.m. till noon. We have a spiel. We have a magic show. There's a costume parade. There will be Chomentashen, lunch at Julietta's Cocina, and fun. I'm raving this because these are great groggers, and then we donate them to the food bank. So if you want to bring in a grogger, we would love to have your mac and cheese. Also on Sunday, Vanderbilt Hall is inviting high school students to learn about Jewish life. And so that'll take place at the Hillel House, and that's at 5 p.m. I know that Shmooze and Views continues on Thursdays at 10:30, in person, online. Mahjong is taking place here in our social hall at 12:30 on Tuesdays. And order forms are due, forget it. Does anyone have their order forms, the Chumash Tashin for the Micah Children's Academy? Because you just missed the deadline. Okay. Rabbi Lori Rice and Rabbi Joshua Kullock have this great partnership, and they're going to interview Yehuda Kurtzer of the Shalom Hartman Institute in Jerusalem. He's awesome. They're awesome. They're going to talk about American Jewish identity, Israel, anti-Semitism. That's taking place Friday, March 4th at noon, and that'll be on Zoom. Last thing I'll tell you is that if you have not checked out the Micah podcast, Getting to Know Jew, under the direction of our educator, Julie Greenberg, you absolutely have to. It's amazing, intergenerational oral history project. Our high school students interviewed senior members of our congregation. Episode 2 was released earlier this afternoon. All the programs and website and Zoom links and stuff can be found in our email blast and on our website. That's what I got. Thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom. And I'm going to have you rise one final time, and we will make a kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshenu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'yahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lama'aseh v'reishit Ki hu yom techila lamikrae kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim Ki vanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
L'chaim, Shabbat Shalom.
Oseh